Hello.
Hello. This is so fun. We're so excited.
We're so excited too. Rammies, we are doing a little crossover episode.
We love a crossover. Our first
I believe so.
crossover?
We've never done one either. So,
Yeah.
honeys, we're also doing a crossover episode.
Oh my God.
And
Join us for this ride.
Yeah, Honeys is so cute. I love that.
It's so cute.
Please introduce yourself to our Rammies. We're so excited to chat with you guys. We connected a few months back. We love your podcast. We love a sex positive podcast. And
thank
we're
you.
so excited to chat more. I know that everyone's going to listen or love what you guys do.
yeah. Well, we're Honey Do Me Podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Cass, and we're a podcast that focuses primarily on sex and sexuality, but we also dive into relationships, mental health, all of it, anything that tends to have a little bit of shame around it. We like to help take that away because we think you should all live as shamelessly as possible.
We bring on experts every week to talk about we used to talk exclusively about different sex acts and kind of like the how-to because we were very new to exploring the bedroom and getting comfortable in like sexuality. Now we've branched a little bit more into like friendship, relationships, mental health, but we bring on experts every single week to kind of dive into all of our questions because we're just trying to figure out life and we need coaches like 99% of the time.
Oh my gosh, we really do. I mean, I feel like we're such a perfect fit because Claire and I try to, take out the shame and destigmatize a lot of, things in history because we're a history podcast. And so I think this is the perfect collab.
Yes. My name's Claire.
My name is Tess.
And we are the hosts of a podcast, Right Answers Mostly, where we say history is just gossip. Yeah, very similar vibes where it's like, let's reevaluate this actually from our perspective, take the shame out of asking questions, and just make it approachable and fun. Rammies, I was listening to Honey Do Me, their orgasm trap episode, and I loved it. I just feel like sex is such a taboo subject when it shouldn't be. Everyone's doing it. But like we don't talk about it. So you don't learn enough about yourself or your partners. And you guys just make that so easy. I just love it.
It's so important.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's actually why I love today's topic as well, because I don't think we talk about it nearly enough. And there's so much shame around it. So that's why we're diving into the history of porn today.
It felt right. It felt right. We needed to do it.
Especially for women. I feel like men talk about it and it's like so known for men. But I almost feel like I was like, wait, women can watch porn?
I mean, that's like everything with women, right? Like when you're younger, you're like, girls masturbate? Like, no,
I thought I invented it. I thought I was the creator of masturbation.
When you were.
I know.
Yeah, you can just claim it.
I really should have trademarked that. Could you imagine? But it's crazy. It's just not talked about enough.
Well, we always start most of our episodes of what did you know about porn? Like, what was your experience about it? And I'd be curious, like, if we all went around and sort of said, like, what was our first experience with porn? What did we think about it before we watched it?
Yeah. Cass, do you want to go first?
Of course. Honestly, I didn't think a lot about porn. I guess I always kind of thought of it as like a little bit shamey. You know what I mean? Because the only porn I'd really heard of was like Pornhub. And, I'd like typed it into my browser before. But as soon as you go to it, it's like, holy shit. That's not what I'm here for. Like,
a lot going on.
That's a huge dick in my face. And that's just like a lot to take on right away. So yeah, I think I just assumed it wasn't for me. And then doing the podcast, we got to talk a lot more about like feminist porn and realized that there's probably porn out there for everybody. And if you're into it, there's definitely porn about it because we like to say you're not special. And that, yeah, there's a lot of benefits to it too, but we'll talk about that later. So what about you guys?
Yeah.
Well, I remember like my first memory of talking about porn with someone was with my boyfriend in college. And I was really nervous to ask him if he watched it because I had never watched it. I was like, women don't do that. That's not a thing that we do. And so I remember asking him and being like, just get the courage test, just do it. And he was like, yeah, I sometimes do. And I just remember it was like I felt like he was cheating on me. And that was like my first experience with it of just being like, wait, I didn't know that. And what does he like that I'm not giving him? Like it almost made me feel like I wasn't doing enough of a good job as a partner because he watched it. And then I went on Pornhub to see what it was all about. And I'll never forget it.
You never forget your
night.
first.
Well, we really aren't special. We do all have the same experience with Pornhub.
Yeah. There is, well, actually, my first experience with, I guess, sex was omegle.com. Did anyone go on that?
I'm not
No.
familiar.
Okay.
Do I need to write it down?
No.
No.
No. No.
No,
Have you heard
please,
of chat
God.
roulette?
Do what?
Have you heard of chat roulette?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Oh.
Same thing. So I would go on that with my friends when we were like in middle school, not really knowing that it was like a predator site. And then, but we figured out that you could see some dirty stuff on there. And so we would just block our camera and kind of go on and be like, scream, throw our laptop across the room and clear the history. But we would still go back to it like every sleepover just to see what was out there. And that is also very scary.
Totally.
It really is. I mean, my experience was very similar, like thinking that it wasn't for women to watch porn and then kind of getting an introduction, I feel like actually from a boyfriend, but in a way of kind of like, let's watch this together. And then you're like, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And then, which I know that we're going to talk about this later, Tess actually was the one who introduced me to Balesa. And when you find a
Claim
porn
to fame.
site, claim to fame, made for women, it will change the game. And then I feel like even as my journey, it's like realizing the different types of porn that you might like that you would never expect that is actually much more universally loved by women. I'm calling out women on women porn. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
That needs more of a spotlight as well.
Yes.
It's a little jarring when you figure out, maybe you've never really thought much about your sexuality, but you figure out that like female porn is kind of something that turns you on. At least this was my experience. And I was like, later when we were able to look into this through the podcast, it's like because it's female pleasure centered, because we're talking about and focusing on what pleasures a vulva, and that is super hot because you just don't see that in regular porn.
Oh yeah, like no one just wants to see. I'll say most people don't want to see, as a straight woman, just like a man just pounding you, and that's all that it is.
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable for me.
Exactly. Going back to Pornhub after Balesa, I'm like, it's not a safe space there.
Oh no.
For me.
No.
It's not safe.
No. The
But
production cost alone.
Oh,
It's like
kidding.
I
Like,
can't
let's do a
go
little
back.
bit better. Come on,
Yep.
we have iPhones now. Like the quality is good.
There's no
Quality's
excuse.
good. No, there's no excuse. Yeah, Balesa all the way. We are the same.
Yes. Oh,
Chef's
my
kiss.
God. Chef's kiss.
Yep.
Well, I'm so excited to get into it. So should we get into the history of porn and where this all started from?
Yes, please.
Great. Okay. We always cite our sources here at Right Answers mostly. So I got my information. I'm going to be taking ancient porn until the 70s, until the golden age of porn. And then Tess is going to take it away. History.com, we say history.com is our mother. We kind of make a family tree of information because we can always trust her. She's always there. Wikipedia, we say is our stepfather because we can't quite trust him all the time, but he is also always there. Take with that what you will.
Perfect.
That says a lot about Tess and me.
No, I love it.
NBC News and the podcast Slum of Film. So, okay. First of all, let's start off with the definition of porn. So the definition of pornography is kind of subjective because all sorts of artwork, film can turn people on, right? But the definition of porn exactly is that it is art made solely for the purpose of turning you on, right? So like you can see a naked body and be like, I feel something, but that's not necessarily porn because it wasn't made with the intention of that. So it's kind of like, do you guys remember that sketch of It's Not Porn, It's HBO?
No.
It's so funny. It's all these actors telling their family like the scene that they just got cast in this film and how excited they are, and everyone's horrified and they're like, oh my God, you're doing porn. And they're like, no, it's HBO. And then everyone's like, oh, that's amazing.
Oh my God, so
So
accurate.
good.
It's like the whole Game of Thrones.
Exactly. So it's like that's kind of the definition. So we're making it with the sole intention of getting turned on. And people have been drawing naked bodies forever. I mean, everyone's been obsessed
We're all
forever.
horny people.
Exactly. But a lot of times these were made as religious symbols and like fertility symbols. And a lot of times it was made as like, what is the word? Where it's like an informational guide of to have how to have sex, which I'm sure you guys have all heard of Kama Sutra.
Yep.
Right. So I had always heard of it. I didn't really know what that was, but it comes from India in 2nd century BC. Like this shit's old.
Wow.
Yeah, the
We're-
Kama Sutra was published, which was published. It's kind of like Honeydew, where it's like a half sex manual, half relationship advice, half like life advice. So like,
That's
How
so
progressive.
I know
Yeah, I was gonna say that's so
Kama Sutra
interesting.
walked so that Honeydew could run.